Welcome to the Mojo for Musicians podcast from Manny Cabo Media, where we dig deep into today's top strategies to help you take your music career to the next level, along with real, raw, and uplifting conversations with industry professionals that are making moves, making a difference, and making the best versions of themselves to inspire you to do the same. And for all of our Mojo Maniacs out there, don't forget to subscribe to this podcast on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss any future episodes. And if you like what you hear, please be sure to give us a positive review on your favorite listening platform. Support for the Mojo for Musicians podcast comes from Stedman, tools for the studio and beyond, because your voice deserves to be heard. Sennheiser, inspired by music. And Cranium, scientifically designed products for bald, shaved, and buzzed heads. So get your head in the game and own your dome. And now, here's your host, Manny Cabo. All right, what's going on, Mojo Maniacs? Welcome to another episode, and actually number 52. That's crazy to even say that. Of Mojo for Musicians. Man, it's hard to believe, I've been away for close to, 4 months prepping and just got back from tour with the Wizards. And of course, I can't really say I miss being behind the mic because I definitely did my share of that. But I miss these incredible interviews, and the connections that offer, so much perspective, and insight to the music industry, which, let's face it, it's the principal reason of why I started doing this, to essentially educate, empower my fellow ecosystem of artists like we have today. And of course, I couldn't have done any of this without the help of all my sponsors, endorsements, Sennheiser, Stedman, Cranium. You guys know who you are. Thank you for making this possible. You know what? Without further ado, let's move this right along because I have the pleasure today, and I'm looking at them. They're a fellow Jersey act, which I've seen substantial strides being made, and they've proved their tenure, and they're here to stay. Obviously, that's the most important thing above all. And more recently, because of dear friends of mine, Tom Hanley, a couple of fellow photographers in the industry who've been boasting about these guys, I said, listen, I got to figure out Reality Suite. I know I've been following their journey, but while I was on tour, they actually showcased with one of the bands where we all know you either love them or you hate them. Me, I love Nickelback.
Yes.
I personally, as you evidenced by the laughter going on in the background, I think they're going to concede with that assessment. So without further ado, let's bring into the studio Brian, Antonio, Joe, and Kimmii, or as we know, Reality Suite. Did I get you guys right?
Sure
Yes,
did.
you did.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very
awesome.
much, man.
No, that's awesome. It's great having you guys. And girls, of course. You made it. And as I alluded to before, I've been watching your journey for some time now. And I give credit to all the endurance, because it does. In this industry, it takes a lot of resilience to do what we do day in and day out. And I'm sure you guys are going to agree with me on that. And I may be a little biased, but one of the reasons why I had you guys on the show is because it does take a while. It takes a lot of resilience. To front a band, especially with a female nowadays, it's difficult. It's a male-dominated industry. But we're going to get into some serious questions here, and please don't hold back any punches. I'm going to be as transparent as I possibly can with you guys. You go with that?
Cool.
Yeah, sure.
Sounds good.
I just wanted to make sure I can really not hold back punches. That's great.
It's good, right? This is a safe space.
I'm usually curved. They usually pull the leash on me, so.
Nice. Well, I know Jeff Crespi and, of course, Tom Hanley, like I mentioned before. They're the reasons why you guys are here, because I saw so many things going on behind the scenes on social media threads. And they love you guys, and they were boasting about you. And then I did a little due diligence.
They're amazing. We love
They
them.
really, really are. They really
Yes.
are. Tom and I go way back. I've been on his show multiple times. He's been actually on my podcast. I featured him because I had to. He's such a great personality. And here they are, and all the way down from South Jersey. It's, right? Isn't that him? He's fantastic.
Jersey Rock. We got Reality Suite.
I love it.
His ears right now are absolutely ringing. You know that, right? But yeah, like I was saying before, I may be a little biased, but I think we need more killer female front women in the industry. And we need to see those Ann Wilsons and Haley Williams and Doro and Alanis Morissettes and, of course, the Kimmies of the world now, right? Right. So let's dive right in. And I guess from the inception of what we know today as, Reality Suite, it actually started, 13 something years ago? Correct me if I'm wrong. And you, Kimmii, joined in 2013, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty
My
amazing.
goodness.
Very accurate,
right?
I can't even believe that much time has passed.
Yeah.
It
And you
feel
know,
like that much time.
We were going to try to fake it and shave off those first 3 years and say we're doing our 10-year anniversary. So
More than 10 years? I thought it was 10
no,
years.
it's 10 years this July.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
August,
okay.
something like that.
I was like, it's been more than
Wow.
10 years?
so that's awesome. That's exactly what I'm talking about, you know, and along the way, obviously you've done something right because you've created a significant amount of buzz and you gained some serious attention from major labels, I might add. And reading about it, I'm like, wow, this is a pretty cool story because as I said, I was following your journey, but I didn't really delve down deep and to discuss and talk about what's this band all about, you know? Because when we're musicians, we're actually in our own little bubble. And because I wear many hats as a photographer, podcaster, I just can't stay focused on the music industry. But as I'm looking through my threads, I'm like, holy shit, Nickelback's playing what? Starland? No, are you guys reading this train? Right, and sure enough, and then you guys were the elected band to open up. So that must have been pretty epic. Talk to me about that. What was the feeling knowing that you were going to open up with one of the biggest headlining bands? These guys sell out arenas, you know, all over the world, and here you are. Granted, you've got your own accolades, and as I said, you've made some waves, but you're opening up for one of the top tier acts in a venue that no one ever anticipated happening. I just got off the stage with Seven Dust like 3 weeks before. And I'm like, this is a cool venue. I could not imagine Nickelback playing Starland Ballroom. So talk to me from your perspective. What did it feel like? What did you have to do to get that? Because again, this show is about education. So I want the anticipation level to be pretty accurate for the people listening. Like, how do you get on stage with a Nickelback? Obviously, because of tenure and so many more elements. So I'll let you guys discuss.
I was washing Tom Hanley's car for at least 6 months.
That's one way. That's one
He
way to
was
do
like,
it.
you know, he was drinking his Slurpee and just
Right.
like, no, a little bit more to the right.
That's actually pretty good, man. I'm glad I got this on video. I got to show
All
it.
right, so yeah, you want to start?
Yeah. I
Or, Ant,
mean,
you want to start?
Definitely not me.
I guess the story starts with me when Brian calls me
Okay.
and he was like, you'll never believe this. Guess who we're opening up for? And he said Nickelback.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I just woke up. I was just like, you're fucking with me, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, you're fucking with me.
Right.
Like
That's
I
what I
didn't
would have
believe
thought. That's a
Like, I
normal
was just
response.
Like, what? Like, no. Like, and then like after a while, you kept, and I was just like, wait, I didn't even know we were in the running to open up for them.
Wow.
So
That's crazy.
it was just the most like, because I'm a huge fan of Nickelback.
Of course.
And my dad was always a huge fan of Nickelback. And to finally, I mean, I don't know, like it just didn't seem real.
It was
Yeah,
certainly a surreal experience. I mean, I was feeling surreal for you, so I can only imagine what's going on. You guys.
I've been a Nickelback fan most of my life,
Yeah.
and most of my friends goof on me on a regular basis about it,
Yeah.
and I'm fine. I'm a diehard. So I was driving through Connecticut. I hit record stores. I collect records. So I was doing like a Thursday run,
Right.
and I was somewhere in upstate Connecticut, and I get a call. No. First, Tom Hanley texts me. He's like, "Hey man, can you talk?" And I was like, "Tom Hanley wants to talk.
Right.
Something's gotta be up." So I was like, "Yeah, sure, give me a call." So he calls me up. He's, "Can I do the voice? I have to do the voice."
I think it's the only way.
And it's the only way to make it accurate, so might as well. You know?
All right. It's like, "Brian, I got something to say. Now look." And he went into this whole thing,
Right.
and I wonder if he remembers it. But I'll
Yeah,
remember.
Tommy always takes the scenic route when he has to
Right,
discuss
right.
something,
He's a-
but it's worth the story every single time.
He's like, "Do you like Star Wars?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "Not really." And I'm thinking maybe there's a Star Wars party, like a Halloween. I don't know, Star Wars something. He's like, "Do you know Star Wars?" I was like, "Not really." He's like, "You know the scene where Darth Vader says, 'Luke, I'm your father.'" I'm like, yeah, I know that scene. He says, "Well, I'm gonna tell you something. Everyone on set knew that happened, but everyone was sworn to secrecy. They couldn't say anything to anybody, even the actors. They couldn't say anything." So I'm like, okay, I'm thinking, all right, where is this going, right?
Right.
So he says, "We have a band that is going to be coming to Starland. They're going to be headlining our Christmas. I forget the name. The
Nutcracker Ball.
Nutcracker Ball. Yes, thank you. Nutcracker Ball. And we haven't announced it yet. We can't say anything. And if it gets out, I'm going to know it came from you. So I was like, all right, man, you got my word. He's like, Nickelback is coming and you guys have been asked to open. And I started screaming at him. Now, my friends here will tell you, I'm the most even-keeled guy. Like, I'm just like, yeah, right, okay. And
Pause for a second.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, I usually don't like,
Of
you
course.
know? But I was like, you're fucking kidding me. I was shouting at Tom. I was like, you got to be kidding me. This is a joke, right?
Yeah.
Because you know I'm a Nickelback fan. I didn't know you were a Nickelback fan. Really, are you? I'm like, no, you don't understand, Tom.
That's
really?
great.
Are you serious?
That's great.
Anyway. So then it just became the whole, I can't wait to get off the phone. Well, I had to pull over. That's right. I had to pull over.
And hurl. Yeah, of course.
Wait, is this real life?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, no, I get it, dude. I get it. Listen, you're preaching to the choir because, moments like that, let's be realistic, don't come around too often. So you really need to capitalize and leverage those moments, which you actually did. And that's another thing. It's a great segue into the next question because it's one of the things that obviously I appreciate about you guys in reading about you and your resiliency and being true to yourselves. Because let's face it, you never curbed your vision, from what I can gather, and held your ground. Now talk to me about that because in today's day and age, right, where so many artists are very easily influenced and manipulated with this cookie cutter type of template. And it's all the same producers dealing with the same artists. And I noticed, speaking of producers, you guys deal with a great friend of mine, Earl Cohen. We've worked on multiple projects together. That's my boy.
Wow.
Yeah, I've known him for years. I've helped him with his website, salvaged a lot of his files. Like we're like boys, man. And when I found out you worked with him, I'm like, that's like the, what's that game? 6 Degree with Kevin Bacon or something like that.
6 Degrees of Separation.
Yeah, that's it. 6 Degrees of Separation. I'm like, wow, that's
The
pretty
world
badass.
is much smaller than we think, for sure.
Yeah, no, it really is. And when I moved to Nashville, I realized that, Nashville is a gigantic, tiny little city. And you realize that once you start making waves in this industry and you start establishing great rapport and building this robust campaign, people will start to recognize you. And you could really either do very well or shoot yourselves in the foot rather quickly, and then we'll get into that, a couple of questions before that. But with respect to that cookie cutter template, was it difficult for you guys to stay the course, like the AC/DCs that never change your 3-chord R&B structure? Or was there any type of evolution throughout this growth process of What's Reality Sweet? Talk to me about that.
I'd like to jump in on this one.
Yeah, go for it.
I think it's a little bit of both. We're a bit of a hybrid on that because we stay the course,
Right.
but we definitely avoid crashing waves.
Of course.
Yes. I feel like we definitely honed in on our sound. And yes, we want to capture the audience,
Right.
but we don't want to do cookie cutter stuff. We
Right.
still want to,
We take chances.
We
Yes.
experiment with different ideas, and
Yeah.
that's what we've done earlier on where it was even pre-Kimmii. And then once Kimmii got in the band, we were more focused. We had a
Sure.
better idea of where we're going to go, where we're going to take it.
Right. Our next album is going to be all nursery.
Okay, that's good. That's good. That's very, very good. Doing like the whole Elmo thing. No, listen, man, that's great. Whatever it works, you got to attract attention some way,
We have a new version of ABCs, let me tell you.
So Brian, how does it feel to get most of the attention back there sitting and banging on the skins when there's nothing going on, downstage, there's nothing really going on. Kimmii's not doing anything. So how does it feel to be the focus of attention? And I'm being facetious, of course, because we drummers, because I'm an old drummer. We never used to get love. Unless you're like a Zoltan, nobody knows you exist back
So the
there, bro.
attention I get, they're like, what does it look like from your perspective? Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Oh, nice, of course.
You know, it's like,
Well, Brian's going to bring the Tommy Lee effect. He's going to be rolling
yeah.
in front of the
Well,
crowd.
yeah, that's a given. You have to. I mean, that's the only way to offset that. No, but seriously, all kidding aside, obviously, Kimmii, you're easy on the eyes, but you could also belt it out. But it's also good to have a solid 3-piece rhythm section and guitar player backing you up. And at the end of the day, it's all about the entertainment value. So I can respect whatever we have to do. I'm a firm believer. Whatever we have to do to engage with our audiences. I'm a singer, but for me, I've always considered myself more of a front man than I am a singer or a vocalist. I love to capture the audience. It's a visceral feeling for me. Is it that for you as well, Kimmii?
Absolutely. I mean, especially I could see like from when I first started,
Yeah.
I was nervous. I didn't like, play the stage.
Yeah.
But then when you start really taking in, how you can kind of control the crowd and
Sure.
you can like look people in the eyes and like really like grab their attention and like make it more interesting. And then the more people that I would watch or idols that I would watch doing that, they're running around the stage, they're jumping up and down, they're performing. They're not just singing, they're performing.
That's awesome.
And I try to do the best that I can with that.
That's all we can do, right? There is no best singers. That's the thing. I try to educate as many artists when I speak, when I do Zooms. Everyone's so focused on, well, I need to be the best at this. Just be the best that you can be. Right. Don't compete with anyone. It doesn't exist. Hell yeah, I would have loved to have been a Chris Cornell, but that's Chris. I cover his songs, but I do them like Manny. So at the end of the day, it's great that you uphold your vision as a band. So next question I want to shift over is egos, right? Because let's face it, egos is a big deal. Ego for me is a crusher. Yes.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry. Sorry. Don't know.
No, that's great. All kidding aside, of course, we can joke around it all day, but for me, it's a relationship killer. It's always been a relationship killer. And
is narcissism the same as an ego?
Yeah, you know what? It's very similar. Very similar. There are
in the
many.
realm, yeah, for sure. I have to say, I'm really glad, like in our band, like we don't have like big egos or like we don't butt heads so much.
Yeah. Well, that's why I asked. I wanted to know because ego's a part of mostly every band. In one area or another. In this musical journey.
I feel like we're all very humble.
Yeah.
And that helps with us all getting along.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, we have our differences and stuff, and like if we disagree musically, but the way that we approach it, I feel like is in a really healthy manner, as opposed to some other bands and why they don't or can't even stay together.
Sure. Well, I asked that specifically, not to interject, but I've performed with some amazing females, a lot of friends from American Idol, from The Voice, amazing singers, where I love it. It's all about feeding off their energy. And when I'm out there, tattooed up and rocking out, have another rocker female here rocking it out with me, it's just an amazing feeling. It's cool for me. But there were instances where a lot of the guys couldn't handle all the attention going to the girl. So I'm just asking that because to me, that is the most idiotic thing that I have ever experienced. I'm like, guys, this is a collective effort. Who gives a shit who's putting on all the attention? We're all gaining from this. If we all work as a unit, we all thrived. But some guys had attitudes. Why is he doing this? Why is she always up front? Why is she hogging up the stage? So has that ever been a situation where you guys encountered? Not that I feel that coming from you.
I think
guys.
if there's any time that actually happens, it's never within the band. It's usually within the room.
Gotcha.
In other words, like it could be sound guy, it could be a promoter, it could be the other band, just interfering or screwing something up for our set. Yeah. But not so much internally. No.
Yeah, not us on stage, tripping each other on, to embarrass you. Never.
I mean, that one time, like when you hit my head, remember that was great.
That was at the Chubby Pickle.
That was painful. Oh man, I think I had a concussion on stage, but I got up
we got a
and I
too
was
close.
singing through the paint.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I went down on my knees to do like a whole headbang thing, and then Joe's doing soloing it out, and then he goes like this, and then my head goes into his guitar neck, and oh man,
it was a samurai moment.
You're like, Jam, you're like, oh. No, it's part of the show. It's part of the show. She's good. She's good. Trust me.
Yeah, I did.
There was a will.
Joe and I make it a point where we position ourselves because I'm left-handed, he's right-handed.
Oh,
so
okay. Yeah, I know. And you're also lefty, Brian, too, right?
Yes. Yeah. Left-handed rhythm section.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Hey, lefties have rights too, right? That's the saying, isn't it?
Exactly. Yes. No. Well, we acknowledge that Kimmii gets a lot of attention, and we're totally cool with it. I mean, I run the social media, so it's I kind of know how to wrangle it. Yeah. Where I know that if there's a message I need to get across, and I know Kimmii's going to be the method of.
Well, first of all, I'm going to stop you right there. Listen, I've been an editorial photographer for 20 years. Worked with all labels. Worked for Maxim, Playboy. Sex sells. If you have it, you flaunt it. But the good thing about Kimmii is she's got talent. And I love that because you combine the two and you all benefit, right, from that marketing power, right? Because it's not just Kimmii. It's all of you guys. Right, collectively, you make up a band. It just so happens that Kimmii's the lead singer. And it's happened in multiple band situations. But then again, it's not my fault that we have a very talented and good-looking band. It is what it is. That's not your problem. That's everyone else's problem. Whoever has an issue with your image, it's because they're veiling their own insecurities. That's not your problem to address those issues. That's why when they used to, I remember being on The Voice, how many years ago? First thing they told us was, guys, do not address the criticisms, ever. The worst thing to do is look at the critics. I used to get hammered. You got to see the comments I used to get. But I'm a pretty secure dude, so I used to respond with all the love in the world, you know, and just to show you how some people just want to hear themselves speak. There's one guy I'll never forget. He's like, dude, you're a has-been. Forget that. You're a never was. Get a real job. Why are you painting your nails, you know? And I reached out to him and said, listen, man, I'm sorry. Was there something that I could have done, you know, to gain your loyal fan base? And you know, he says to me, he goes, bro, I had no idea you'd answer back. I just wanted to say something to see if you would say something.
Yeah.
So
people just want to stir the pot,
right.
Like, for no reason, because they're bored, I guess.
Exactly. So case in point, you're going to get a shit ton of stuff like that. But at the end of the day, if they love the music, you know, if they're buying your merch, if you're getting some asses in seats, who gives a shit, you know? And again, to what I alluded to before, I believe that we need to have more female rock front women out there. We need to have more females just rocking the industry, man. You know, it's been a male-dominated industry for God knows, for centuries, since the beginning of it. And the few that have succeeded and gained some accolades are pretty notable. You know, the Janis Joplins, the Lita Fords, they've always made an impact, but I felt like nothing ever sustained. Like they leave. We just lost another great with, you know, Fleetwood Mac. It's like, okay, well, who's going to replace that? We need more of that. That's why I try to instill that in our youth, you know, and whatever gimmicks it takes, guys. So, you know, you use that, but you use it strategically. That's the only thing. You keep it professional and keep it engaging. And for me, I'm a visual guy. So the photography has to be on point. You know, I have over 200 albums and EPs to my credit, and every single one I put my heart and soul because I know there is a chance that somebody will click on your music just because of the visual. There's an 85% chance higher on Spotify or any other streaming platforms that someone may not know who you are, but if they like the artwork, they're going to click on it. It's crazy, right?
It's psychology.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So by all means, leverage that. I guess my next question would be,
what color toilet seat did you
For the record, it's blue. Just throwing it out
Light
there.
blue.
It's a light blue.
well, no, we're coming to the winter stage of the interview. So my signature question is always going to be, what's your mojo? And the reason why I ask that question, we all have our different types of mojo. What keeps us going? What gets us out of bed? Like, I love to sing. I love being on stage. Some people don't. Some people love singing. Some people can't stand the audience. They still get stage fright. Some people love the hustle and bustle. I love being on tour. I can't stand being on the bus more than 12 hours because I can't sleep. So there's pros and cons to everything. But in this industry, you guys as a band, over your past 12 plus year tenure, what is the one thing or multiple things that have kept you guys on track, that have kept you guys going, that you wake up every day and you're like, you know, yeah, I could do this one more day? That's the stuff that makes this show, because we all have different interpretations. That's one of the reasons why I love asking this question, because everyone's going to give me a different answer.
My answer is probably because I hate trap music.
Yeah. Everything he does is to combat trap music.
Listen, man, I'm not a fan of trap music. I'm not a fan of trap music either. I don't really care, you know. And I'm a Latino, and I can't stand reggaeton. But that's my personality. That's my yeah. All right, stop. We're gonna kill this episode right now if this keeps going. Right? So no, but go ahead, please.
You don't know that song?
Of course I know that song. Who doesn't know that song?
That's like old school.
But seriously, indulge me, guys. Indulge me.
2014 old school. All right.
Right.
So it's you know what I'm getting at is you know if it's any possible way that I can introduce good style, quality music, good genre to a new generation. If there's a way that we can, that's my investment to it, is to how to develop a new relationship with a younger generation that doesn't understand rock. You know what I mean? Yes. I'd like to prevent them to avoid good music.
To never have discovered it, or just to contribute to it. You know what I mean? Just like that.
Yeah. Of course, I'll take it.
That rock and roll, just having that next riff. You know what I mean? Just putting it down and playing it between the band and just getting the song going, and that's mine. You know what I mean? That's my drive.
So it's safe to say that it's that constant roller coaster of creativity, the ability to keep creating and putting out in the world, which is what
absolutely.
That's definitely. I mean, for me, growing up, music's always been kind of a coping mechanism, I guess. It's just, I would start I'd be in a really emotional space or whatever, and I would just start writing, and I would just start getting it down on the piece of paper, and then just sitting there being bored with these words, then I would start putting melodies to them, and then writing songs. And then eventually, I always knew I since I could speak, I was singing. I wouldn't shut up. But when I started writing at a very young age, I think I was 11, I wrote my first complete song. And it was just, music to me became an outlet. And then eventually it started saving my life.
I love it. So it's more therapeutic for you, Kimmii.
Yes. Yeah. And if I could make people not feel so alone, music has made me know that I'm not alone in the way I feel. And you connect to certain songs, to certain artists. If I could do that for somebody, that's awesome. By helping even myself cope with what I'm going through, I think that's
no, I love it. It's a noble gesture. And you know what? I think as creatives, that's kind of our responsibility, right? Not only to create, but as I do this podcast, is to empower, to inspire, to help people relate that they're not alone in dealing with their doldrums of life, whether they've lost someone, whether they lost their job, or whether they're depressed, or whatever the case may be. There's always a viable outlet through music. And that's the beauty of what we do day in and day out. Brian?
Similar to Kimmii, the whole process of the writing, recording, releasing, and then getting feedback from supporters, that's really what keeps me going. Let me give you an example. So people say to me, I say friends and family say,
sure,
my friend's in a YouTube tribute band. They're getting paid $700 a gig. You should join a cover band. And you know what? The money is seductive, but I just don't have that in me, at least yet.
Yeah.
Can't say never. But
same.
Yeah, I wouldn't be motivated.
No, I get it. Listen, I did cover bands for a while I was doing my original. It's just a great gig. I mean, we used to do things like Secrets. We used to do, we're talking right on the beach, 4,000 sold out. We play for New Year's. We play for 4th of July. It's great money, right? It's easy money, but it's I always felt that after we finished, and we were one of the premier cover bands, but I always felt all right, we rocked out the Tool. Now what? Oh yeah, great, we did this. And whatever we were performing, it was never good enough, despite the full crowd capacity. It was never fulfilling enough because we're doing someone else's music, that already took that song to the next level. So I completely understand and empathize with you. So what's next for you guys? What do you want to promote on the show? How can our listeners find you and learn more about Reality Suite?
Not easy.
There's that ego again.
Yeah, you can find us on 8-track, reel-to-reel, cassette, and
yeah.
Okay.
Right now we're pretty much on all the platforms: Spotify, YouTube, iTunes, Amazon Music.
Tidal, Apple Music.
Whatever platform you're listening to, we're on there.
Nice.
We got
our social media every day. So Instagram, Facebook, you'll always be able to get a hold of us there.
Love it.
And our website, realitysuite.com. We have awesome merch. And right now, we are going back to the drawing board.
We also have a MySpace.
We're going to...
Wow.
MySpace, huh? This anymore. I miss MySpace, honestly. But we're going back to the drawing board. We're going to write some new tracks.
Nice.
And hopefully be in the studio again soon. And we're just going to hit it hard with a new album or a couple of singles.
I love it. I love
Power
it.
ballads
So you
are-
guys, okay, so you're definitely putting out some new music. Awesome.
Yep.
So that's
Yes.
something to look forward to.
Absolutely.
So there you have it, guys. And anything else you guys want to add? This is your time, so I'd love to get you guys out, get some more people to come visit and see what you guys are all about. When's your next show?
February 26th.
Yep.
Dingbats.
Nice.
Clifton, New Jersey.
I know it very well. Good place.
Yes.
You know what? I
Yep.
might have to come out there and stalk you guys.
That'd be
Come,
great.
that'd be
more than
fun.
welcome. More than
Yeah.
That'd
welcome.
be great. All right, guys.
Leave a parking spot for you.
Yeah, hey, there you go. Are you
Come on
sure?
stage with us. Only if you do a song with us.
Antonio will stand in the spot the entire time until you get there.
I will dress like an orange cone. I have no problem with that.
Stand there like this, just like.
Wow, for somebody who's got all ego, it's pretty cordial, though. That's pretty surprising.
Absolutely. I only have an ego with sound guys.
Yeah, of course. Well, listen, guys, this has been amazing. So grateful and honored to have you on the show. So happy that things are going your way. Keep it going. If there's one thing, quick, in a minute, what would you recommend to our future generation of musicians to sustain a career in what we do?
Oh my God. Persistence. Don't
There you
give
go.
up. Just, it's that
Yes.
constant. You can't do it for money. You got to really love it.
Yeah,
And you
forget
just
about
got to
money.
keep
Right.
doing
Keep
it.
the drive.
Love
Yeah.
it.
Also, be creative at all times. Don't
Yeah.
hesitate to veer off of even your, what influences you. Just use it as a portion of what you want to create.
I got you.
Joe?
Yeah, no, just keep the drive. You know what I mean?
Just keep
like
doing
you said,
it.
Yeah.
man.
Keep doing
And
it.
buy a lot of
Don't
instruments.
let life
A lot of
get
lessons.
you bitter, because life is going to keep throwing shit at you.
Yeah,
Yep.
no doubt.
Don't give up. Don't get better. Exactly.
Well, listen,
Right.
I'm always a strong advocate for resilience, so you got my vote. And once again, thank you guys for sharing your talents, your insights, and your journeys with my amazing listeners.
Thank you.
Thank
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 you.
you very much.
Excellent, guys. Rock on. I'll see you guys
Take care.
on the next one.
Rock on.
Take care.
Be well.
Be well.
This has been a Mojo for Musicians podcast. If you're a musician, industry professional, or a voice with a powerful message and wanting to share your mojo and stories of success with our listeners, or simply share some feedback on today's episode, we'd love to hear from you. So send us an email at info@mannycabo.com. As always, much love and peace. Live to inspire. Thanks for listening.